What would you say if I told you that buried deep within the text of the United States Constitution, there is a hidden provision that completely negates the Second Amendment? Now, I'm sure there's a lot of people shaking their heads, some probably already typing, some probably ready to accuse me of being an anti-gun guy. I'm not. I think people should have weapons. But the Founding Fathers goofed. They made a mistake. You see, a lot changed between 1776 and 1789. And people have missed this. And when it's found by those who do want to take everybody's weapons away, the courts will have no choice. It's in the Constitution. I'm going to give you a hint because this video that I'm going to do is probably only going to be something we can talk about over Patreon. But here's a hint. Our Constitution was made only for a moral and religious people. It is wholly inadequate to the government of any other. I'm sure many people, I know that quote by John Adams. You don't know the whole quote because there was a part above this that shows where they had a plan to keep guns out of the hands of a huge portion of the country. It's also hinted at here. No free man shall ever be debarred the use of arms. No free man. The strongest reason for the people to retain the right to keep and bear arms is as a last resort to protect themselves against tyranny and government. Well, what if I told you that tyranny got written in to the Constitution and nobody realized it at the time because they could not have imagined a world that we're living in? Let me ask you a question. A lot of Second Amendment absolutists believe that the more guns, the better. The person who has the more guns and the more ammunition, they're going to win every single time. Okay, then explain how the British lost. The British had more men, more guns, better guns, more ammunition, more training in every possible way you could measure it. They completely outgunned and outnumbered the revolutionaries. If more guns always means you win, how did they lose? How could the British have possibly lost? They outnumbered the revolutionaries 3-1, 5-1, sometimes 9-1. And for the first, year or so of the revolution, things weren't going all that well. How could this have been the case? How many of you remember the series we talked about some years ago called Black Sails? Where there was a group of pirates and they were continually underfed and undergunned and under-equipped, and yet somehow they resisted the British and they resisted the Spanish successfully. A lot of people look at a picture like this and like, oh man, that would be a great hideout. That would be an absolutely spectacular end of the world bug out hideout. Look at that. Oh, that bed's great. Look at all the wonderful, all this equipment. You see, it's not almost always about the equipment. And believe me, I even think that when the Patriot Nurse sees the video that we're going to do at Patreon, she might have to take a minute to really rethink the idea of Second Amendment absolutism, because it contradicts itself. Now, if you'd like to join us for this video, I'm just putting the finishing touches on it right now. It's probably going to be up the next 24 to 48 hours, and it's going to be for everybody. This is going to be a bonus video for the entire group over there, whether you're at the $2, $5, $10, or $15 a month level. Believe me, this is something you're going to want to see so that you can get ready and get prepared for this, because it's an argument in the Constitution that cannot be ignored. And when you look at it versus the Second Amendment, something sticks out that the courts will say, yeah, unfortunately, the Constitution, even though the Bill of Rights says ABC, this right thing, it also says right here in the Constitution that blah, 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 blah. Therefore, we can take everybody's guns away if we want to. Love to have you over there. Base level, it's only $2 a month. We have massive discounts if you sign up for an entire year at all three levels. The $2 level, McKee Foot Soldiers, $5 level, Need to Know Roundtable, $10 level, Unit Commanders, $15 a month level, the Brigade Commanders. We got videos for all sorts of folks over there. And believe me, I know a lot of folks have been saying, wow, we've been watching a lot of Antarctica the last week. I've been looking into this. I've been spending a lot of time reading into this and looking at different sources, and they're going to sneak it in. They're going to figure out a way to sneak it in. And here is the story out there right now that I think everybody needs to pay attention to. But once again, love to have you Patreon. Truly. A lot of folks have signed up over there, and far more who sign up stay than who take advantage of the full refund. First 90 days, no questions asked. First 90 days, no questions asked. Was April? Let's see, May, June. Heck, it'd be end of July. It'd be the end of July before you would even risk losing any money. Hundreds of videos over there going back all the way to 2018. Let's get right to the meat of today's video, though. This is the story you need to pay attention to. Arkansas, deep red, Trump-loving Arkansas. The governor, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, her dad is the envoy or ambassador to Israel, I believe. They've had horrible, horrible tornadoes and storms. And they said, hey, Mr. Trump, we came through for you. Sarah Huckabee Sanders has supported the man, and her dad has supported the man. And it's a deep red state. And they said, hey, we need some help. We need some help we need FEMA funds. Massive tornadoes have destroyed huge parts of Arkansas. Trump said, nah. And part of me wonders if it has to do with this little tweet that Sarah Huckabee Sanders put out. As long as I'm your governor, the meddling hand of big government creeping down from Washington, D.C. will be stopped cold at the Mississippi River. Meddling hand of big government. You see, that's kind of what Second Amendment absolutists are talking about. Hey, we don't want to keep your hands off our gun. We don't want you to do anything. Well, you see, there's a problem. And I wish I could talk about it here. I really do, but I know what would happen the moment I open my mouth about it. This channel will get taken down, and I can't afford that right now. Congressman asks Trump to, or I should say Congressmen ask Trump to reconsider after disaster relief was denied. 22 April 2025. Arkansas's congressional delegation has joined Governor Sarah Sanders, Mike Huckabee's daughter, by the way. Sarah Huckabee Sanders is what she used to go by, in asking President Donald Trump to send some federal cash in our direction to help the state recover from a series of severe storms. Arkansas's 2 Republican senators and 4 Republican representatives sent a letter to Trump yesterday asking the president to reconsider his decision after he denied Sanders' request for a major disaster declaration after a double shot of fatal storms last month. People have even died. People have even died, and Trump said no. Widespread disaster fatigue. The Republican sextet normally preaches austerity, the tightening of bootstraps and such. Senator Tom Cotton himself, in particular, gained infamy for arguing against the federal government sending money to the Northeast after Hurricane Sandy hit way back in 2012. Storm killed more than 100 people, and he voted no on multiple appropriations for Hurricane Sandy recovery. Boy, talk about having opinions that come back to bite you in the ass. That's kind of interesting, but how many of you heard this story goes right along with it? Out of California. See, there's this illegal alien guy, and he was driving like a maniac, and he slammed into these 2 individuals and killed them. And he got sentenced to 10 years, then he got knocked down to 5, and then he did 3.5 of the 5, and he's getting ready to be released after having done 3.5 years in U.S. prisons. And people are losing their minds. Oh, that's not enough for killing 2 people. Well, should he be deported? Or should he serve his full 10 years in prison, in U.S. prison, with U.S. money paying for his every meal, U.S. money paying for his health care, U.S. money, maybe, who knows, to change him into a woman if he wants to be a woman, all this kind of stuff. Should we pay for this to make sure he stays in jail, or should we deport him? Which would mean basically he would be free, just in another country. See, I think this is an interesting thing to put on the balances. Because you would have to divorce yourself of the emotional attachment to the story. And many people are like, oh, deport, 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 get him out of here. But that basically is him being free, him not being in prison. Talk about a get out of jail free card. A lot of people didn't think about this. California's disgraceful plan for a illegal migrant who killed 2 teens in a 100-mile-an-hour fireball DUI crash. Now, the interesting thing about this is that these 2, if you look at their names, they're Russians. I wonder what anybody's opinion would be if they had been here illegally. See, what if he had, let's say he was a green card holder. What if he was a green card holder and they had been here illegally? Would there be people saying, well, they shouldn't have been here in the first place? They shouldn't have been. And so if they died and he's a green card holder, he's legally, here. And they were not. They were Russians and they'd overstayed their visas and they weren't here, within the bounds of immigration law. I don't think we should waste any court time on it, really. Because they weren't supposed to be here to begin with. Why should we waste taxpayer dollars to prosecute someone who ran over or ran into somebody who really even wasn't supposed to be here? Interesting argument, isn't it? It's an argument that we've been talking about at Patreon for a long time. The idea of what happens when your brain gets fried on emotions and everything becomes a question of how do I feel about this? Not what do I think about it? Not what do the facts say? Not what is the rational conclusion here? No, how do I feel about it? And then I'm going to consult everyone else around me to see if they feel the same way. And then based on those justified feelings, then I'll form an opinion. That's what's happening in America right now. Psychological Operations 101. Confirmation bias. Your decisions are pre-wired. This is going to be the basis of our new video over there talking about the Second Amendment. And here's one final hint. One final hint that I think a lot of people will probably have a hard time processing. Artificial intelligence has started to do something that they are keeping quiet. An AI robot was programmed to give ethical advice using 1.7 million real-life human examples of interaction, and at the end of the day, it turned racist and homophobic. Imagine that. Imagine a robot coldly, clinically analyzing 1.7 million real-life human interaction examples, and then, when asked to give ethical advice, it's a racist robot! It's a homophobic robot! Imagine that. But do yourself a favor, if you want to go partake over Patreon, go find this quote and see if you can find the whole one. See, because when they just started, our Constitution was made, they leave out a huge part of this quote. And it's going to be the basis for guns being taken away from people. So, I will leave that there. I would love to give you some more hints. I really would. But for the Patreon folks, that just wouldn't be fair. It wouldn't be fair. We've had a lot of folks that have stepped up over there and said, you know what? I get it now, Maki. I get it. I get why you have to have a Patreon channel, because you're just not allowed to say certain things, even though they are as plain as day, even though they are the absolute gospel truth, and there's no denying them. You just can't speak the truth anymore on any of these platforms. So, once again, God bless. Pray for each other. Pray for me. I'll pray for you. Join us on Patreon. Lift each other up. Like, share, subscribe. We'll see you guys next time.